daughter for her niece, who had been brought up, she said, to think of nothing but painting her face and running after young men. Got it. She was engaged on this fruitful topic when Beulah returned from having tea with young Mr. Hart and had just informed Mrs. Haddington, whom she persisted in calling Lily, in the teeth of every injunction to alter this commonplace name to Lydia's, that she would live to rue the day when she sent her daughter to be educated at a school in Switzerland instead of rearing her to be a useful member of society when Beulah walked into the drawing room. Mrs. Haddington betrayed no pleasure at the sight of her secretary. "Well," she said sharply, "what is it?" "I'm sorry to interrupt you," said Beulah, laying a scrap of silk on the arm of her chair, "but this is the nearest I can get to the stuff you gave me to match." "Well, it won't do," said Mrs. Haddington, contemptuously flicking the scrap with one pointed, blood-red fingernail. "Really, I should have thought you could have seen that for yourself." "I did, but I thought I'd better bring you a sample of it. And caviar is the same price everywhere." "I sometimes wonder what I pay you for," remarked Mrs. Haddington. Beulah flushed and folded her lips. "Exactly what I have always said," remarked Miss Pickhill. "What a healthy woman of your age, Lily, wants with a secretary, or whatever Miss Bertley calls herself, to run her errands for her is more than I can fathom. Caviar, indeed. More of your grand parties, I suppose, enough to make poor father turn in his grave." Oh boy. These people are kind of rude. Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right. I think the secretary will be the suspect. Oh my God, maybe these two will die. The sisters. "Enough to make poor father turn in his grave. That will do," Mrs. Haddington said, dismissing Beulah. "Will you want me any more today?" Beulah asked. Mrs. Haddington hesitated. She was taking a party to the theatre and dining afterwards at London's newest and smartest restaurant, so that there really was nothing at all for her secretary to do. "No, you can go," she said at last, "and please don't be late in the morning." "I never am," replied Beulah. "Good night." "A very impudent manner that girl has," said Miss Pickhill, as the door closed behind Beulah. "Not but what you bring it on yourself, with your slave-driving ways. I suppose she'll be leaving next." "Oh no, she won't," replied Mrs. Haddington with a slight laugh. "Yes, that's what you say, but nowadays girls won't put up with the way you treat them, and so I warn you." "You need not worry. I know too much about Miss Beulah Bertley for her to leave me in a hurry." Oh, so she had something on Beulah, the secretary. Now, if you don't mind, it's time I went up to change. I have a theater party." Miss Pickle said severely. "Theaters and balls. You don't seem to me to think of anything else. Where you get the money from to pay for all this wicked extravagance is more than I can tell. It's no use saying Hubert left you very well off. He didn't leave you with a fortune, and what's more, if he had, it would be taken away from you by the government. Sometimes I lie awake for hours worrying about the way you live, Lily, and expecting to read in the paper any minute that you've been had up for cheating the income tax or running a gaming house."